We're live, so we'll call the meeting back to order. And we're on 11.5. Corporate strategic management, fire advisory committee membership approval.
Morning, council.
Morning.
Just before you start, Bruce, I'd like to say thank you for all the work you
Well,
do.
yeah.
In Beach Hill.
Everyone stepped up to the plate. That was
Yes,
great.
yes.
No,
Thank
that's
you
good.
very
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're working with the residents
In Beach Hill.
today, actually.
All right, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to bring everyone up to date on the fire advisory committee. As you know, we had passed policy P112, which was the fire advisory terms of reference that was approved by council back in February. After that, we went out to all the fire departments, the 6 fire commissions and the village to give them a copy of the approved policy. And then we went with an initial request for the names and contact information for the designated FAC membership. That was sent out in February, and we had follow-ups in March and in May. There was some delays in getting those names. We've been also received the names now of all the voting membership, and that was attached to the report. In the interim period, council had appointed Councillor Floyd Chafford and Tina Connors as the council representatives on the FAC. That was by motion in April. And so policy P112 actually requires that I bring you back the membership for approval. And that'll allow me then to go ahead with the announcement of the first date. Get a meeting in place, so.
Somebody want to move we approve them?
I move that we approve.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I'll second it. Discussion, all those in favor?
Correct.
Opposed?
So just, we'll get that information out, and also then we're looking at a meeting before the end of June. So we can get one in at least before the summer vacations.
Yes, I just want to have Bruce a question. It's not
Yes.
really specific. It's, I met with my fire department and they asked me a question. I don't know the answer. Is there any protocol? They were very busy. They were covering the area, as you know,
Yes.
around the clock. Is there any protocol where Remo, I guess we'll just do a check-in with them to see if they need something, or I don't think there is, but I didn't know the answer.
Well, Hubbard's was involved from day one with all the remote contacts, so we were in contact with Clary
All the time.
Yeah, we were,
Okay.
he was receiving emails, and
He told me.
I know Mitchell was at our meeting up in Chester Fire Hall too, so.
So you weren't, okay, that's the one of the questions they asked me, why they weren't contacted. And I'll ask the question, so you're saying they were.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Mitchell, his deputy chief, was at the meeting in Chester Fire Hall, so.
But you were in the first 4 days of the fire ban down?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
But it told me that.
Well, actually, when the Shelburne issues all came up, then they were immediately involved in the split between the Tantalum fires and the Shelburne fires, so they were all interested.
Once remote alcohol.
Yeah,
And that was when the
right.
request came from.
Yeah, the initial days of the Tantalum fires, HRM was in direct contact with Hubbard's Fire Department. That may be where the discussion, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for what Della had say, I think it would be appropriate for council, I don't know, by motion or whatever. I mean, this has been an extraordinary time for all our
Absolutely.
and added stress on them, added stress on the families, and just think of the employee firms that allow these firefighters to leave work and still be paid, and making a sacrifice as well.
Yeah.
And I think somehow we should recognize that by some sort of motion statement or whatever. You know, the firefighters themselves, their families, and their employers, And we always thank them for their service, but this is extraordinary. And I think we need to recognize that in some way. I'm not sure what your thoughts are, how to do it.
We can,
We did have a social media post
Right.
on that with that acknowledged the employers.
yeah, that was quite extensive, but,
Yeah, it's a good post.
I don't know.
Recently,
Oh, yeah, right at the height of it, we were,
On Friday, I think.
Yeah.
it was.
Thanking them for letting them go, paying them while they're there.
It was a very well written,
yeah,
very.
I don't think we've said anything at this council table. And one thing to put it on our website, I think that something should come from the council itself. And that's,
Well, we could do, like Tara just said, we could instruct staff to prepare a proclamation that we send out to each department or something,
Right.
thanking them for their support.
to the extent. In open council, we talk about it, recognize that we want them to understand
Yeah,
how appreciative we are.
Yeah, we can-
It's
We
important.
can draft something and bring it back to the council
For
for the
next
next
week.
council meeting.
I suppose that we need a motion on who to do that.
Second.
discussion.
That's one of the issues, I thank you, Derek, but that's one of the things I was gonna bring up under the business. One of the issues that I think that our fire departments and they went above and beyond. And I know some of them were not home like in 3 days.
Yeah.
They were on job and they spent I know the Harvard Department was directly involved with the Town fire, that was the first one. And, the community reacted great and all that. They brought them food and water and all that. But they spent 3 or 4 days away from the families, asked their families to come to the fire hall, spend time with the dog. I think
Yeah.
something in recognition was always been recommended to the departments, and just a letter or whatever.
Well, proclamation, I mean, there's a limit. I mean, I know a lot of the community organizations brought food to the fire halls and all that all the time.
New Ross came to Harvard support. I think Chester Basin also, so they all did
work
it together.
Floyd, that is a good point, because, I mean, we were split right in the middle,
Yeah.
and we have to recognize that we were fighting 2 large fires
Yeah.
on both sides of our municipal unit, so.
And one in the middle.
And we were also trying to ensure that we didn't have any lack of coverage in for ourselves.
Yeah.
So that was the real juggling point.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Request for direction, community development recreation, Front Harbor property, owner unknown.
So this is a little bit of a unique situation. I believe Councilor Wells had brought it to attention at a couple of meetings ago, and so the request was for some additional information to be brought back. So essentially, that's the focus of the report, is just to bring some additional information and to see if there's enough here for a council to make a decision to take any action or not, or to request some additional information. So essentially, there is a property on Front Harbor on Noss Point Road that is listed as owner unknown. So essentially, there isn't an identified property owner for that piece of property. And so there is included a map in there that shows the yellow portion of land, which is the owner unknown property. And so within that, there's a couple of other properties. There's two wharfs located within there. And so there has been, I think as Councillor Wells had noted at the last meeting, that there's perhaps some use of the owner unknown land that maybe is taking place. And so I think it's a little bit of an issue of concern for some of the neighbors. And as well, there's a path that leads down to the water that you can see in the photo there. And I think there are some of the at least one or two of the neighbors locally have used that path to access the water, and of course are wanting to continue to do that. So there's a few of those issues that are just surrounding this owner unknown property. And so from a municipal perspective, so to date, there's been no connection between the municipality and this property. And from some of the inquiries that have happened recently, an assessment account number was just recently assigned to this property. So there have not been taxes collected on the property. And so, as you're aware, until such time, there's a period of time that needs to happen before the property would go to tax sale. So that would be one thing perhaps that may happen if there's no clarification on the owner that takes place in the next little while. At some point in time, this property will go up for tax sale and would follow that process.
How long has it been since anybody's paid the tax? So since nobody else.
I don't think
It
ever.
wasn't assessed.
Oh, it wasn't assessed, okay.
Yeah, it was not assessed, so it wouldn't have been.
And it's come one step further now, one of the neighbors, and I'm not directly involved in any way, but one of the neighbors contacted me and says, "Is there anything you can do?" Now, the people that are using it put a sign up saying, "No trespassing on owners on their own property." A little heavy-handed, I think, and who's going to protect the public position here? I mean, someone is running roughshod over the neighbor because owner's unknown. I can do it. There's no one stopping me. And I kind of like, I'm not sure what the option, you give me a couple of options here, Chad. One is nothing. I'm not in favor of doing nothing. Option 1, 2, or 3. I mean, 2 or 3. I mean, do we need some advice? Do we need more information? What are our options? I don't even know what our options would be. I'd like to find out what we could do beyond expropriation. And is expropriation a good thing? And if we did expropriation, presumably we would want to consult with the people in the area to see if that would be part of the solution.
Well, I don't know, but I'm a little concerned with the person who already has the wharf there and how you deal with that. I mean, I don't know how they got permission to put a wharf there.
There's two, actually,
Yeah,
isn't there?
Yeah, the second wharf, which is again, boggles my mind, basically makes the first wharf almost unusable. But apparently they have a permit for it.
well, yeah, and I guess I'm just saying, like, this is different, I suppose, but I mean, I have a wharf down Wortles Point Road. Off of the side of the highway. And I got a permit, beds and problems to put it there. I also got permission from the upland property owner.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I guess this is very close to the road too. I mean, I don't know if it was it big enough to be a piece of land, or did it just get filled in? Well, if I owned the wharf and I got a permit to put it there, I'd be, you know, I'd want something from somebody if they took it from me. Yes.
I've been around because where I live in my district is close to the village of Chester, so I'm very familiar with the village of Chester. I've never been aware of this property as being like having widespread public use. Although it may have been used by a few of the neighbors, I've never heard of this being referred to as like a public use area or anything like that. If I'm honest here, I'm not really sure what our role is, because oftentimes there are issues of right of way over lands, and in this case, they're lands that are unknown who the owner is. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's a role for us. I mean, should this go for tax sale and nobody comes to pay the taxes, then we have a decision to make, I feel. At this point, you know, it's up to them to prove, like, if there's clearly a dispute there and somebody has to prove who owns it. And I don't know if that should be us paying for our legal counsel to get involved when, aside from a couple neighbors that are using this, which are the ones that are in dispute, I don't know of anybody in the community that's really involved with this property. And correct me if I'm wrong here.
No, it hasn't been, I mean, it was just overgrown in the past. I think some people did use it to launch boats from this. Just because it was there. I don't know from whom we got permission, because it's, you know, it's unknown for a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, our role would be if there's we're not there to solve civil disputes, I understand that. But it is a primary piece of waterfront that someone is sort of taking over unilaterally. And the neighbors has nowhere to go, looking to us to say, if you have any advice for us, what can we do?
I guess,
Protecting the public good, I guess, is all we're trying to do.
yeah, so if I can respond. What's going on here?
We're going to get into some kind of dispute with the guy who has a permit to put wharf there.
Yeah, in the end of the day here, so for example, in front of my house, there's a private road. It's been used for many, many years by people who live on the road, like myself. And some time ago, I decided that I was interested in this road, and it was listed on property line as owner unknown. And for me to clear up that who owned that, I had to spend my own money to hire legal professionals to help me determine who owned that road. It wasn't for the municipality to determine who owned the road. It was for me, because it was of my interest. It didn't really affect other people. I don't see that this is a question of public good here, because it's really only a few people that are using it that are in this dispute. And I'm not hearing it wider than a few neighbors that have been brought, that to my knowledge, that's what's been brought to council, unless I'm wrong. If it's wider spread and there's people all through the community that have been using this for years, and suddenly we don't, like that I can understand that. For example, Fox Point Beach. We have a public park there. It's been used by the wider community to access the beach for a long time. In that case, you know, if there was a dispute, and I know there are some potentially owner unknown, or at least the ownership's in question in that area, I can see how we might want to wade into it and use some of our legal resources to help clarify, because that is a clear case of doing what's for the public good. In this case, I really see it's just us refereeing a few neighbors that are arguing about a piece of waterfront, and I don't know that we have a role in this, in my view. But I could be convinced otherwise. It just, somebody has to explain to me how this really is for the wider public good, or is it just us mediating a dispute between a few neighbors?
So well, even if we decided to go the tax sale route, who are we going to send the bill to find out that it's not that it's in arrears? I mean,
Some of them may not be in arrears, some of them may very well pay the taxes.
well, if I was the guys with the wars, I'd be paying the taxes. You know, I mean, just so it didn't go down that road.
But the wharf, I think you'll find that that map is not accurate. It's a property online map. It's not a survey map.
No,
That the wharf was actually not attached to the owners unknown, it's adjacent to.
I thought there was two, one that was and one that wasn't.
No, there's no wharf off the owners unknown. It's just sand beach.
So there is, you might have knowledge, so the person that put Walter's Way and the person that put the no trespassing signs, they're at odds or whatever. So who put the Walter's Way? What's
I don't
Walter's?
know who put the signs up. I assume the person that
Okay.
bought the property across the street and was using it for the private wharf, as a private beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got a sign up that says, please be respectful, no trespassing.
And then the other one
So
says
that's all
Walter's
it's
Way.
unknown, so I mean, I purposely got down and walked on it, and so the owner come kick me out. The owner didn't come kick me out.
How do you get a civic number?
There is no civic number on the owner. That's for the wharf.
I know, but how does he get a civic number if he doesn't own the property?
That's for the wharf property is there, and so the wharf property does have an owner.
Yeah.
It's the property beside it.
We're just saying.
So the wharf has a civic number of 32. It's the property.
Isn't that on the, looks like in the picture here, the yellow one.
It looks like they're surrounded by, I
Looks
know.
like right there, it looks like the yellow properties, no one owns it, they didn't get a civic number for a wharf and a property doesn't own.
Yeah, I don't think that's inaccurate. I mean, that's a property line map, it's on a survey map.
So you're saying that the wharf is not on the yellow part?
No, the wharf is not on the yellow part, it's a
The
separate,
wharf
separate
is on the
property.
piece that there is a number for,
That's right.
If I can just.
surrounded by the yellow that nobody else.
So the wharf is on 603-95944, is that right?
That's my understanding based on what I hear.
If you were, let me just show you. Can you put that map up again? This is the property we're talking about right here,
Yeah.
right here. It's going down there. That's the property line would be somewhere around here.
Yeah.
It's this piece over here. And down to the water.
What about the other side of the wharf?
Over here?
Yeah,
Well, there's another wharf here that's owned by town. I should say it's barely usable now because it's built such that I don't think it's rendered the other wharf useless.
So the people that are to the right of Derek, where you pointed out, were saying was, where would roughly their line be, or you don't know?
I assume the line will be here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's been searched multiple times. I think it's just not possible to trace who the actual owner would be to go after them and try and get it.
I don't think there's anything for us to get involved.
Let them fight with it.
What do we want to do? Nothing?
What do you think, Sam? Leave it alone?
Well, as it stands now, there is no municipal involvement, so it would be a decision of council
Change
to
that.
change that. Yet you have to determine that there's a municipal or public interest involved, and expropriation would be the obvious tool, but then you go after, which of course would involve expenditure, of public money and so on.
No.
So you're be satisfied that it was all working in the end.
Well, nobody's told me to do anything, thanks. Building official vacancy, you're back.
Thought there was one more in between.
No. All yours.
So this is an update on our building official staff. We mentioned a couple of meetings ago that we were having some problems securing an additional building official. So we were looking to, we have a vacancy for a building official level 1. And some of this conversation relates back to the conversations when council decided not to participate in shared services. And so we need to make sure that we had an appropriate complement of staff in order to ensure a continuity of our service within the municipality, in particular in that circumstance where we had a particular building official that was sick and for vacations and all those kind of coverages. So I kind of have a table on there that outlines kind of where we are currently, and so we do have, of course, Brent Haas is our main building official, and so he's a building official level 2, and so Brent fills that, and then our level 1 is the vacant position, and then our trainee position, of course, we did an internal Jared filled that with Jared, and Jared is doing really great with that. He passed an initial course, and actually I think he signed up for the second course is actually next week. Yeah, and so he's going to continue on his way to become certified. And just for a little bit of understanding of the process of becoming certified, is so I've kind of outlined that in there, and as well provided a snap sheet from the Nova Scotia Building Officials website that just shows how the building official progress through their certification to become qualified and what they're able to inspect and the work that they're able to do upon completion of each of those levels. So I guess we're in a position right now that because we have been advertising since January for this position and have not been successful,
Gotta do something.
we do need to do something. Well, we don't have to do anything if you don't want to, but doing nothing most likely will result in the position staying
That's not
vacant.
doing anything for the people who need building this.
Exactly. And so some of the thoughts were that if we wanted to try some targeted advertising and hire a recruiting firm and perhaps go broader than the province, we could do that. It would cost some money, and then even if we do recruit from out of province, we are required to bring those folks in and and take the training to enable them to do building inspection within the province of Nova Scotia. So that is a potential option. Of course, the other option is to hire an additional trainee. And so that's why we thought that this is somewhat time sensitive, because if that is the decision that we go, the longer we wait, the longer it takes for them to become certified. So that's why we thought we'd bring it back to council, just for a discussion and see what your thoughts.
Andre,
I would put an ad out there for training, and I think it's clear, and we can continue to run the ad for, a trained building official at the same time, and whichever one you get, then you start with,
That a motion?
yeah, I think that's.
I'll second that motion.
discussion?
Yes, Jared was in-house, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And we've exhausted that option for a second trainee. There's nobody else in-house that will become a trainee or.
Well, I suppose we wouldn't know that unless we did went through our hiring process.
Which is, what would that hiring process be?
So essentially, we would re-advertise for a trainee position.
We can use, you only have, well, you only have 50 people. Can we look at them and say, is there anyone that might fit the bill that we can approach?
So the first time we ran it, we had one internal applicant. We've had new staff come on board since then, so we don't know that there could be new staff that are on board that might be interested in it. So we could run that internally. We could do an internal, external again, which is what we did the first time. So it wasn't just an internal application process the first time. So we could do that again.
But how did we identify Jared?
He applied.
He applied.
No one approached him. Can we just approach some of these people and say, are you interested? I mean, what do we do?
So our personnel policy says we have to have a competition for it and do an internal. and
Even if you can't find anything.
The problem I find is that we're still gonna not have anyone. Because it's gonna take a long time. I mean, I don't question that we should do something. But we really need a person.
Level one. We need a level one
Well, if we
person.
could possibly find one.
But as to Andre's point, that doesn't stop us from still advertising.
No, but I think we should do something to try to
Trainee.
secure.
Yeah, well, that's the motion.
Well, we have that motion, which I'll support, but I just want some clarification.
Yeah.
I think from staff's perspective, if we're going to advertise again, we would recommend that we do that as a targeted with a recruiter, because
Yes.
we have not, and a lot of municipalities have not had any luck doing that on their own.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can continue to do what we're doing.
But it's not
if we're
working.
really looking for a level one, we may have to look outside of province and
Yeah.
try to get them up to speed.
All right, I mean, that's fine. I have no issue with how you go about advertising. It doesn't matter.
No, and I agree with you though, like if after 2 or 3 weeks, with a recruiter, we're still nowheres. Then you might as well hire a trainee, because at least we'll be,
Well, in 2 years, we'll have, they can be at level,
yeah.
and we'll still have Brent, hopefully, it's,
So let's go with the recruiter, try to find
That's
ourselves.
what the motion says. The motion is.
We can change
I'm
that.
happy to amend the motion to use a recruiter if it's supported by a seconder.
And what, and not advertise for a training.
We'll do the training at the same time.
Well, yeah, that, I'll second
And
that
you take
motion.
the best option.
Well, that's right, we'll hire whichever one we can get.
Do both.
I haven't looked at their salary band structure. I know we've got we're gonna be discussing it later anyway, but do we differentiate between level 1 and level 2 compensation for our building officials?
We do not.
So if you become a level 1 building official and you're a trainee and you become a level 1 building official, what incentive are we giving them to continue on with their education?
Yeah, so currently the job descriptions don't distinguish between level 1 and level 2. That doesn't mean we couldn't look at the job
I
description.
feel like very strongly that we would want whoever we train.
If we did a level 1, we want them to stay.
And we want them to continue on and upgrade their education to become level 2s, and the only reason why they would do that, if there's some incentive to do so. That's how it exists for everyone else, I think, in this world.
So I think at the hiring process, like if we were to hire a level 2 within that salary band, they would be hired at a higher level within the salary
Yeah,
band,
but
so training would be at the lower end.
Let's
but-
be honest here. That's, if I hire, you get hired here and you're at the bottom of the circuit band, you're gonna be at the top in 7 or 8 years, whether you're hired there or not, and you're still a level 1. What we want is another band, I think, it should be for level 2s that you can jump up. So that you can, there's an incentive for you to continue on, and that we get the benefit of having a level 2 person.
Okay, so we have a motion to get a recruiter to see if we can find a level 1, and also we advertise for a trainee so that we somehow end up with somebody.
Yes.
Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. We're getting close. Okay. Active transportation sidewalk construction phase 1.
Oh, this is the fun one.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Everyone's familiar with our CIP active transportation program.
Yeah,
We advertised phase 1 and the prices came in quite high, over what we expected, of course. But our understanding through the consultant is that other jurisdictions are seeing about the same jump as well. Yeah,
you like it or not?
yeah. They are a competent contractor. We'll get good sidewalks out of it. It will mean at a later date, we'll have to look at how this impacts other projects are on the list. You know, that's a conversation for another day. And with any contract, there'll be the negotiation during the signing period to see if there's any areas where they see they could lower the price and give us the same project. It's fairly standard cross section. I don't know what comfort level there is, but you know, it's something we would discuss with them. But our recommendation is to award them the contract.
Does anybody any questions?
Has the engineering been done?
Except for the inspections, yes.
So that's figure 146.
Yeah.
That's spent.
They haven't put in their final invoices yet, and then there'll be the inspection invoices, so that's well on top of that, but that's our projected estimate right now.
Somebody prepared to move we accept the recommendation?
So moved.
Seconder? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried, thank you. Yeah. New fire hall, Chester Fire Department, who's on that one?
On me.
All right, there you go, you've been off twice this morning.
So a scope of work for the design, conceptual design for the Chester Fire Station has been prepared. It's been developed and reviewed by members of the Chester Fire Services Committee. So in order for this to proceed, the scope of work would need to be approved by both Municipal Council and the Village of Chester Commission.
Have they approved it yet?
No, that will be next week. Going to next week, yeah. They're reviewing the same document that I'm trying to do today.
Man, you gotta do this part before you do the next part, and whatever. Somebody prepared to move, we approve.
So moved.
Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion is carried. Floyd, I believe you're next.
Yeah, well, I was on top of the fire service, but I have a question. I've already talked to Helen about this, and about the fire department supplying a fire truck, and does the municipality supply the funding, or do they have to go to a bank? My experience has been that they do, but my understanding is that when I ask questions, staff doesn't support that, or I guess, or know the answer to that question, so I guess I'm asking officially, do we find out the answer to that question?
As far as my understanding is we can guarantee a loan, but we can't provide. But I can.
That changed?
No, I think we've always just guaranteed it, but it's almost the same. The bank will always say yes if we guarantee it.
We've asked no on it at all. Anyway, I'd like to find that out.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It have to be a specific exception. In general, we can't loan money, in general, but there could be exceptions.
Okay.
I think so you find out.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the end of the public business. So we're gonna take a 10-minute recess and reconvene